Camper Radio, episode 17. Come on, let's go camping. We are back once again, and welcome to episode 17 of the Happy Camper Radio Show. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and you, my friends, yes, you can be one too. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You're wondering where all that crazy noise is coming from in the background. First of all, I'm looking at an empty chair here in the studio. It is only me. Daniel is missing. But, you know, knowing Daniel like he is, it doesn't matter where he goes. He wouldn't miss an episode if his life depended on it. Daniel is visiting us today by Skype. Daniel, where are you?
I am in the Smoky Mountains. I am in Maggie Valley looking over the Smoky Mountains. Mostly smoky, more smoky than mountain, and it is beautiful. How jealous are you, Skip?
Yeah, you've got me jealous, all right. What prompted you to run away on a trip like this at the last minute?
It's called the weekend.
The
what
weekend.
I do.
Now, Daniel, last I checked with you, that camper was still in the shop, and I know you didn't run out and steal it away from the shop this morning so you can go camping. So, you telling me that you finally broke down and you're in a tent?
No, we're in a cabin. We're doing a little family thing with my wife's family, and we're doing it first class all the way, Skip.
Yeah, go figure. Go figure. Oh, Daniel, what can I say? Hey, buddy, I wish I was up there with you, but, hey, we're here to do the show, and we're glad that you were able to call into the show and be a part of it, because we've got a great episode lined up for everybody today. I understand. First of all, before we get underway, let's get everybody out there that's camping with you let's put them on the program here, Daniel. Who do you got now? I know you've got your wife, Deidre, there with you.
Well, I got Steve right now. You can talk to him for a second.
Okay. Steve, how you doing?
Doing fine.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, Steve, now, are you a friend of Daniel's? Are you a relative of Daniel's?
Yes, we are. We're in-laws, I guess.
You're in-laws, okay. The in-laws and the outlaws are out camping this weekend. I like that. And a good place to be is the Smoky Mountains. And you're all in a cabin?
Yes, it's a big 3-story cabin. Like you said, first class all the way.
Now, I'm willing to bet, too, that Daniel managed to work out the budget, so he got his end of the rent for free, correct? Oh, Daniel, hey, what can I say? Hey, Steve, great talking with you. Who else is there with you?
Okay, hold on a second, Skip. Let me go out there.
I can hear a few people in the background.
This is Cindy. Hold on.
Howdy-ho, neighbors.
Hi. How y'all doing?
This is my wife.
Deidre? Deidre, I recognize your voice anywhere.
Grandmother-in-law.
Grandmother-in-law, okay.
Hi, y'all.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what I'm going to do, Daniel, while everybody's saying hi, and I'm going to make you jealous on this end, I am going to get the ceremonial campfire lighter out, and I'm going to go ahead and light the fire on this end of the operation here.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and do that right now as we speak.
We're in a burn ban, Skip. Come on now. You want the fire department to come out there?
I don't think they'll be anywhere around. I'm not going to concern myself with that, because at this particular campsite, we all sit by the fire. We all relax, and we all have a great time. And folks, when you've come to the right place to talk camping,
Hotter, Skip.
well, yeah, keep your electronic devices at home. What can I tell you? But, when you come to the right place to talk camping, this is the place to be. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about. This is the Happy Camper Radio Show. 404-537-2267 is our phone number here at the Happy Camper Radio Show. If you'd like to give Daniel and I a call, do so anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you've got to do is pick up your phone and dial. Leave us your name, where you're calling from, what part of the world you are in. Would like to find that out. And leave us your camping question in your voicemail. Of course, we'll take your comments, criticism, feedback, anything like that. Anything else that you'd like to throw at us, you can go ahead and do that too. Just don't throw any eggs, okay? Now, if you do decide you're going to throw eggs, let me know ahead of time so I can let you know exactly where Daniel is sitting. Yeah.
Wow. What about tomatoes, Skip?
The
I
tomato.
thought you usually throw tomatoes at bats.
Hey, if you want our listeners to do that, Daniel, again, we'll let them know exactly where you are sitting. Yeah. But anyway, if you'd like to catch us on the web, you can do that too at www.happycamperradio.com. You like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Where else could you go to have this much fun? I'm telling you. Well, Daniel, I'll tell you what. Before we do anything, we've got a phone call here. Let's go ahead to the phones right now.
Hi, Skip. This is Dave Del Bianco from Pittsburgh. I work with your brother, Eric. Just wanted to give you a shout-out, tell you how much we enjoy the show. We listen to it all the time. Eric tapes it for us and doing a good job. Like to hear it a little longer instead of a half hour. An hour would be better. But just wanted to give you a call and give you a shout-out, tell you how much we enjoy it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for calling the program here, Dave. We really appreciate that. One of our fine listeners from up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Daniel, what do you think about maybe doing the show for an hour? You know, I had kicked that idea around before, and, you know, the only reason I can't see us sitting at the same campsite for an hour is the fact, number one, it takes so much just to clean up after you when you leave.
Oh, come on, Skip. That's
And number
ridiculous.
two, if we went for an hour, I would have to rent a bulldozer. That's exactly what it would take. just to pick up all your candy wrappers and everything else you leave behind. But anyway, Daniel.
You're telling them all the secrets tonight.
Oh my. Well, Daniel,
Come on now.
Daniel, you know, I've got a great topic here for our listeners this week, and we're going to go ahead and let them know what we've got going. And, you know, and what we do last week when we talk about our topic of the week.
What did we do last week?
Oh, yeah, we kicked in your bumper music, the topic of the week on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And Daniel, this week we are going to talk about something very serious that I think we need to speak about, because when our listeners are out there camping, they're out there to have a good time, and we don't want any bad things to happen while they're out there, but sometimes accidents do occur. And that is why it is so important for each and every camper, each and every hiker, to have with them a first aid kit. Daniel, do you have a first aid kit with you?
I have my phone. Does that count?
No. But that is the thing.
Well.
That is something you're going to want to keep with you, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the program. But, you know, you might want to go ahead and open up your notebook and take some notes, because, you know, this is going to be an important topic that we're going to discuss today on the show. We're going to talk about first aid kits, tell you why they're important, and especially if you're out there and you have some youngsters in your camping party, you know, and because, Daniel, we are a family-oriented camping podcast. You know, we keep it clean. We want to encourage folks to bring their kids out there. Camping, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, brings about family unity. And that's why I'm so passionate about this particular topic, about this particular podcast. And, you know, I want to keep everything in perspective, and I want to make sure that each and every one of our campers who go out and venture away for a weekend like yourself, or maybe going away for a week-long camp out, does so, and they do it safely, and they come home safely with the same excitement and the same enthusiasm that gets them pumped up to go on their next camping or hiking expedition. So it's important.
Funny, when I was up at this cabin, they do have a first aid kit up here, in all seriousness. So if anything ever happens, we do have a first aid kit.
Well, it's good that you have one handy, all right? And let's hope you never have to break that open. But it's there if you need it. Now, one of the important reasons why you want to have a first aid kit with you anytime that you go camping, especially if you have the youngsters with you. You know, kids will get themselves into trouble. They have a lot more energy than we have. They are on the go all the time. They get bumps, they get bruises. And it's important that you have exactly what you need in the event something does happen. So you want to make sure that you have those first aid kits handy. It never hurts to have more than one. I highly encourage folks not only to keep a first aid kit at home, but also keep one permanently in your car, in your travels, whether you're going to work, coming home from work, going to the store. If you're, going on a camping trip, you're en route to a destination, you never know when you're going to need it. So it's important not only to have one at home, but also in your car. I would highly encourage folks to keep a first aid kit in their camping supply box with all your camping supplies, and you're going to have it there. It will be handy, it'll be useful, and it'll be there anytime you need it. They even make pocket-size first aid kits, and I've got one of them myself. And you can take them out on the hiking trail because you never know what's going to happen out there. First aid kits, my friends, are so important, and I highly encourage anybody who is camping, anybody who is hiking, to get themselves a first aid kit. Well, Daniel, something you might want to keep in mind here, too. If you decide that you are going to go ahead and purchase a first aid kit or multiple first aid kits like we're talking about here, you can either do that. I love the little bugs we're getting in this. Skype is so cool. But, if you want to go ahead and create your own first aid kit, you can do that also. And in fact, if you go to our website right now, which is www.happycamperradio.com, you can click on one of the tabs right there at the very top of the page, and you can find a anatomy of a first aid kit right there on our website. And it's put together by the American Red Cross, and it shows you exactly what you need in a standard first aid kit. Now, some people like to go ahead and be creative, just like myself. When I go out on a campground, I like to be creative. I like to set my camp up just the way I want it. And it's designed just the way I want it. You can actually put your first aid kit together the very same way, just the way you want it. And there's a lot of information on the website there, and you can go ahead and visit that and see how to put a first aid kit together. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it depends on where you're going. If you're going to the mountains or.
Danny, you still with us? Hello? Folks, I think we just lost Daniel. I don't know if the fire was way too much for him, but, he may end up calling us back here on the program. And if he does, we're going to go ahead and pick that phone call up. That can happen, especially when he's up in the mountain areas, when they got all them hills and the bumps and everything going on. But anyway, we're talking today about first aid kits, and it's so important. Let me see. I think that's him calling back into the show. Daniel, are you there?
Sorry about that. The mountains, they're crazy up
Yeah,
there.
that's exactly what I was telling.
What I was saying is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. What I was saying is, there's always the basic things, but if you go to an area that might have more snakes or spiders or something, you might want to bring along, some snake bite kit or something, or, make sure you know where the nearest hospital is, because once you get bit by a snake,
Yeah, Daniel, you're having a hard time up in those
you go to the
mountains.
hospital right away. And, I think it's important to have Band-Aids and, peroxide with you and maybe some iodine and stuff. And that's always important to have no matter what you're doing, camping or not, because, you never know what you're going to... Actually, on the way up here, my wife got a splinter, and thank goodness she got it out with her fingers, but it's always good to have a tweezers handy in case you get something in your foot, because if that gets infected, it's painful. It's really painful.
I totally understand it because I've been there, done that before. But I'll tell you, Daniel, it is so important, that you have these particular items with you on a camping trip, and even if you don't use them, it's almost like an insurance policy. Why do you buy insurance? You buy it in the hopes that you don't need it. But in the event you do, you've got it.
Right.
And it'll be there for you. And the same thing applies to a first aid kit. Now, the first aid kit that I have purchased, and I purchased it some time ago, and I think the only time I've ever opened it up in all the years I've had it was maybe to get a Band-Aid or two when I needed one. Now, I do keep it updated. You know, some things in your first aid kit will expire. And you've got exactly. And you've got to actually go in there and find out what's good, what's bad, and eliminate the bad and refresh your first aid kit so you have it all up to date. And that's about the only time that I go into my first aid kit. And I'm talking about the one that I carry in my camping supply box, which goes with me on each and every camping trip. So it's important. It's important, that you keep your first aid kit updated. And again, if you want to find out what to put in a first aid kit, if you want to build your own, just go to our website, happycamperradio.com. Right there at the top of the page, safety tips, and you just go ahead and click on first aid kits. It's right there at the bottom of the page. Click on it, and it's set up by the American Red Cross. It's the anatomy of a first aid kit, and it shows you some of the things that the Red Cross recommends that you put in a first aid kit if you're not going to go out and buy a first aid kit for yourself at the store, or at your camping supply store, or your department store, because they do sell these kits already, prearranged. But some of the important things that the Red Cross thinks and believes that you should have with you, the very bare minimum, you'll find right there on that particular web page. And you go ahead and check that out right on our website, again, which is www.happycamperradio.com. Another thing, Daniel, I'd like to also mention is the American Red Cross recommends that you take a course in standard first aid and CPR. That is also a very important thing to have under your belt, not only for yourself, but for your family and for your own peace of mind. And you can find out more information about that by visiting their website at redcross.org. I was there at their site the other day, Daniel, and I was looking at a couple things. They have a wilderness and remote first aid course, and also, hey, believe it or not, a pet first aid course. How often do we talk about pets on this program, Daniel?
It's for me.
We
should take the course.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about taking it.
It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. And, of course, like I said, I would focus more attention on that back in the days when my kids were a whole lot younger. Of course, me, I'm by myself when I go out camping these days, and it's only me. So if anybody's going to get hurt, it's going to be me, and I'm going to be working on myself. And for the most part, I think I'm going to be okay. But yes, it's always good to have that right under your belt there, that Red Cross course, that CPR course, because you never know when you're going to need it, or somebody else around you may fall ill, and you may have to render aid.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's all about safety, Daniel. Yes, go ahead and tell me to put my safety vest on. I beat you to it, pal. I already got it on.
I know you put your helmet on.
Yeah, you're right about that. But hey, some of the other things you may want to consider, Daniel, and I know you're going to love this one too. And now, and by the way, let me stop here for a moment. Since you got the cabin, did you get the one with the 60-inch flat panel TV?
We got a big screen TV, but it's one of the old school ones. But we got a hot tub, Skip. There's no worries. After we're done with this, I'm hopping in the hot tub, and I'm going to relax.
You call this camping? You call this, Daniel, you call this roughing it?
Hey, I am, I barely have 3G up here. I mean, how much more roughing it do I need? Seriously, Skip, what do you want?
I don't know. Daniel, I really thought your idea of a hot tub would be that mud puddle that was outside in the driveway,
Okay, Skip, let me put this in. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But earlier today, we went to the Smoky Mountain National Forest, and we saw elk. I've got pictures. You can post them on the website next week. But we went and we saw elk, and I didn't have 3G coverage. I didn't have phone service for a good 20 minutes, Skip. If that ain't roughing it, I don't know what is.
Wow, so you were out of phone contact, and that was roughing it. I can believe that, Daniel.
Come on.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Daniel. Some of the things, and like I said, I was about to say before we went on a roll here. One of the things that our listeners may want to consider in putting together their first aid kit, and also when traveling to and from a destination, as well as being out there on a trail, provided you have that cell phone coverage. And you're not going to hear me say this all that often, but by all means, keep your cell phone handy. I don't mean every member of your camping party have your cell phone handy. If you've got one designated individual who has a cell phone, fine. But I would like to think that everybody else has their mind set on the camping environment, which I think is also important. So
my co-host out here said, what if y'all get separated? I think it's important for everyone to have one, wouldn't you think?
Well, I wouldn't think. If you're going on a family outing, you're going to do things as a family, and you're all going to stay close together. I would really hate to think at that it's going to be one of those small, rare opportunities that somebody would separate. But hey, Daniel, you're right. You're absolutely right there. That could happen.
Actually, they have those walkie-talkies that work pretty good.
Oh yes, and I've got a pair of those. In fact, I haven't had the battery in those things in about 5 or 6 years. I'm gonna have to pull them back out to see if they're working. Yeah, and they've got those family frequencies in them. Yes, those are very good too. So yeah, I mean, to some degree, the electronic devices, they do come in handy and they do play an important role.
You're coming around, Skip. I'm proud of you.
Oh well, okay. Just for a moment, anyway. All right. So you definitely want to get one of those, okay? One of your cell phones to have it handy just in the event you need it. But at the same time, I think it would be a good idea also to have with you a guide to first aid. And you can probably get them on the Red Cross website if you go ahead and browse through it and find out. And they may even sell them in the stores too, your department stores, your camping supply stores, wherever you get your camping supplies. First aid is so important. I also encourage each and every one of our listeners, before you venture off on any long distance trip, know where you're going. Sure, you're going to do your research ahead of time. We bring a lot of great campgrounds right to you here at the end of our program. And if you happen to be visiting one of those, or maybe another one in your area somewhere, you're going to do your research. You're going to find out what you need to know about that campground. It's also important for you to find out where the local hospitals and clinics are, just in the event that you may have to venture away from camp to get somebody emergency treatment. You're going to want to know where they're located. You're going to want to know exactly how to get there, how close it is to the campground. And, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time and effort to do that. So you want to have that information handy as well. Also, you want to make sure that you have a phone number for your local poison control center too, just in the event you need to call them up for some advice. Most of the campgrounds that I know of, especially public campgrounds, Daniel, you are really having a lot of fun. I don't know if you're pushing buttons on that end or what the case may be, but yeah, it's quite different having you away from the program as it is right here in the studio. But
when you were talking about emergencies, we had our own little emergency up here. Our hot tub wasn't working too well, and we got on the horn and we got the hot tub repair guy, and he came up and he repaired our hot tub, and we are good to go. I just want you to know that we are ready in any hot tub emergency.
Daniel, you sound like you have it all together.
Exactly,
not my kind of camping, but hey, you're having a great time, and that's exactly what it is all about. That is so important. 404-537-2267 is the phone number here at the Happy Camper Radio Show. Again, you can give Daniel and I a call anytime and let us know where you're at. Let us know where you're calling from and what's on your mind. Give us your camping question. Again, anything you want to toss at us out here, we'll take it right here on the program, and we'll get you on an upcoming episode. Right now, it is time for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And this week, we take you to Buffalo Point, Arkansas. Daniel, this is going to be a great place to go camping. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised after you pack your bags and leave the Great Smoky Mountains that you head down here, because I had an opportunity to go through a lot of the pictures on this website. This is so awesome, Daniel. Actually, no, let me take that back. It's Buffalo Point, Arizona. AR stands for Arizona, correct?
Oh, I'd love to go out to Arizona.
Yeah. It is a great place. This particular campground has 112 available sites, and we've got it posted on our website right now under the featured campground tab. Their season runs all the way through Thursday, November the 14th, 2013. And here's the great thing, Daniel, is after the season ends, you can camp there for free during the non-season dates. Yes. Here's the only problem with that, Daniel, is after November 15th, all the way through March the 15th, the water and electricity at this campsite is shut off.
Well,
so you're going to have to rough it if you go out there. But, Daniel, let me tell you, they have got a lot of great activities, a lot of great amenities out there. They have an amphitheater. They have boat trailer parking. They have plenty of drinking water, good drinking water, of course, electrical hookups, fishing, tubing, trailheads, river access, a ranger station, picnic shelters. Daniel, the list goes on and on. Medical facilities, too. And here we are talking about that on the show. In fact, Daniel, I think I may have just lost you there. But anyway, let me go ahead and share this with the rest of our listeners right now. This is a great place to go camping. Go ahead and visit their website right now. And if you haven't already signed up for an account, we're going to get Daniel back on the phone because he just cannot stay away. Daniel, are you with us?
Hey, my phone, I thought it was dropping in the hot tub, and I saved it at the last second. It was very scary. Very scary situation up here, Skip. It's dangerous up here. I should have had my first aid kit for my phone. That's what I really need.
Yeah, it sounds like you do. Just make sure you keep one handy the next time you go on a camping trip. But anyway, I was sharing with our guests right now. And, hey, buddy, it's going to be so great to have you back in the studio. It's, if it's anything more fun than poking fun at you over the phone is having you right here to be able to look at you right in the face. But anyway, check out their facility map. And I did that the other day, Daniel. This place is great. Almost every one of the campsites are right there along the river. We talk about having the rain fall down on our tent fly and sounding real cool and putting us to sleep. Hey, having a running stream right next to you is just as comfortable. And this is a great place to go camping. Check their date range availability. They do have plenty of available sites open right now. And if you haven't already signed up for an account, this is a great time to do it. Right there in the upper right-hand corner of the page, click the yellow sign-up tab. They ask you for some basic information. Nothing really too intrusive, but you go ahead and register for that account. It's free to register. Go ahead and do it right now, and this makes any reservation that you make through recreation.gov so much easier anytime that you make a reservation at any one of their campsites. It's Buffalo Point, Arizona. It's our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. And if you have a campground that you would like Daniel and I to feature on the program, all you've got to do is send me an email, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Make sure you include a link to the campground's website, and we'll make sure we go ahead and toss that on our homepage so everybody else can see it. And we are always in store for some great campsites for everybody to visit. Tell us about some of the ones you have out there that we don't know about. We definitely would like to take a good look at it, okay? And Daniel, that's going to about wrap it up for you and I here on the program. This has been an interesting one. We're gonna have you back in the studio again next week for episode 18. I just don't have the energy you have, Daniel, to get out and go on some of these places at the last minute like you do. You're making me old, guy. You really are.
I'll get you out there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And yes, my friends, you can be one too. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.